Hey everybody, want to do a video here real quick, give you guys an update from yesterday's video. First, let me say that this is not investment advice. This is paper trading and for entertainment purposes only. Let's start with the SPY. I had January 27, 395 puts that I picked up yesterday for 75 cents a contract. Sold those this morning for $3.25 a contract. So a little over a 4-to-1 overnight. Very happy with that. The reason I sold is that obviously there's not a lot of time on them. I do think we could come down to the 50-day pretty easy, today, and they'd be worth more. But if it starts, making a bear flag here, um, I'm thinking that could happen. Make a bear flag and then break down, come to the 390 level, which, right around the 20-day moving average. And that 390 level has been a very important level. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen by Friday. And in that case, the contracts be worth probably $500-$600. But I don't know how long it was going to take for the bear flag to play out. And, it could come back up here and want to test this gap a couple of times before coming back down. So, plus we've got Tesla earnings. And I told myself this morning, like if we look at the VIX, I told myself when the VIX hits the 20-day, I'm going to sell. And that happened fairly quick. So, was able to make a 4-to-1 on the SPY puts. Very happy with that. If this is the start of the next leg down, I'm not worried about missing any of the move because I do have those Apple puts. Those are April 21st. They're the 120 Apple puts. Apple's down a couple of percent today. It is holding the 50-day. Kind of has this breakout look, back test of the downtrend line. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Apple come up to 150, which has been a very important level for Apple. And I do think if it can't get above 150 and it can't have at least a couple of daily closes or even, a couple of weekly closes above the 200-day moving average, I think it's coming back down. Plus also here on Apple, I have this neckline and, it's not the best trend line, but it's the top of this September 2020 high connected to this December 2020 high, December 29th candle here. And you can see if we zoom in, it's closed right on this line a couple of times. It keeps, it'll fall below it and then back test it before it moves back up. And if we come over here, it pretty much closed right at it on this candle, and then it gapped down. It came back up, and when it back tested it, it came back down, and then finally when it did get above it, it had to back test it again before moving to the upside. So to me, that validates it. And, you could see there's some false breakdowns over here. Finally, it did break down. And, the reason I bought those puts in April is that if this is a head and shoulders, just like with Tesla, when it back tested the broken neckline, what happened next? Tesla fell something like 60% within 3 months. So I gave myself about 3 months of time. They're the 120 puts on Apple. So like I said, if this is the start of the next leg down and we just start, having some high volume selling over the next few days, I'm not going to be upset about selling these January 27 395 puts for 325 a contract because I still have those Apple puts. So the next play was the coin puts. I bought they're $49 puts, and I bought those a couple of days ago for 43 cents a contract. They were only worth 48, even after a 4% down move. They were worth 48 cents a contract at close yesterday because they were so far out of the money. But I figured we were coming down to this little gap right here at around $49, $50. I was going to sell half of them, then hold the rest to see if we could maybe come down to this gap here at 44. Get two big days of selling. But I'm looking at the 15-minute, and it's pretty oversold already, and that's the move that we have now, as far as the move down. So, and we're at the 10-day moving average. I haven't really looked at Bitcoin, but I don't think it's broken down that much. So I think this is probably just a short-term pullback, a second test of this gap in this area here, and it's probably going to make its way up to test this trend line in the 200-day there. So maybe it can go up even further, say around 72 or so. But anyways, I bought those for 43 cents a contract. I sold them today for $1. So, didn't do as good as I wanted to on them, but it's pretty much the same story with, I mean, I pretty much timed puts right here perfectly and only made 100%, but it was overnight. I did sell them a little early, but it's been hard to get a really good scalp off these coin puts. Um, the IV's pretty high on them as well. So, but if we look at Tesla, one long play that I actually did this morning was I'm going to play Tesla earnings a little different way. I'm going to play it with Lucid. So when Lucid came here, I still think Lucid come down and fill this gap at around 785 and tag this trend line. But I bought $9 Lucid calls for 7 cents a contract that expired this Friday. I do think that if Tesla's going to pop, say another 10% or so, I think Lucid could possibly pop, 25%, come up to about 1050. I believe the 20 weekly moving average is right around $10.50. Also, there's this downtrend line here, this yellow line, and then there's this blue line as well. These are both long-term trend lines. There's no negative divergence or anything on the 1 day. So, I like this play as a long. It's how I'm playing, Tesla, is by playing Lucid. And if it comes down here and these contracts go to 3 or 4 cents, I'm going to load up on them. They're $9 calls. They're cheap. They expire Friday, and I do think there's a good chance it might happen next week. That happens a lot of times. I'll be like a week early on things, but I do think it's going to go at least to 1050 or so. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. Paid 7 cents a contract for those. They're the 127 Lucid $9 calls is the play there. So that's one of my longs. But did real well on the SPY puts. Did 4-1 overnight. Doubled up on the coin puts, and then on Nvidia, I had 185 puts for Friday. I pointed out this inverse head and shoulders. So I thought that at least it could come down here to about 170. So I'm holding on to a few of those Nvidia puts. They're the 185 puts that expire on Friday. I paid $1.20 a piece. I sold like 3/4 of them for $3 a piece. So got my initial investment back and profits, and I've got those contracts on the house. So if things continue to sell off and we come down here to 179 to 172, somewhere in that range, they're 185s, and if that can happen by Friday, those are going to be worth a lot of money. So those are a few of the contracts that I'm holding, and then I've got the as far as puts, and then I've got the Apple puts as well. So those don't expire till April. But yeah, so I wanted to give you guys an update and then also tell you all about the Lucid play. I'm going to be keeping an eye on it. If it comes down to this trend line and to this gap right here, I'll be picking up more contracts. They're the 127 $9 calls, paid 7 cents a piece for those, and that's how I'm going to play the Tesla earnings. So I want to say thanks for watching. I'll do an update video probably tomorrow, and we'll see you next time.